Affairs Committee Chairman Ed Royce urges Secretary of State Kerry to suspend visas from West African nations, writing, "I was deeply concerned to learn that the U.S. embassies in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone are still processing visas for non-U.S. nationals just as they had prior to the Ebola outbreak. It is my understanding that approximately 100 applicants for visas are visiting these 3 U.S. embassies each day." CDC Director Dr. Thomas Frieden was asked about this today. Joining us now, the author of those comments, House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman, Congressman Ed Royce. Mr. Chairman, good to have you with us. An extraordinary hearing, an extraordinary situation, the response by this administration. They've known what was coming, presumably since March, when Frieden first raised the alarm. Your thoughts about the response of this administration to this moment?
Well, for example, it seems to me pretty clear-cut that when you have a pandemic like this, the first thing you would do would be to put a hold, you'd temporarily suspend the issuance of visas from people from these 3 countries into the United States. It is not an inherent right for people to travel or to have tourism to the United States in a case where you have a pandemic. And in the past, in 2009, we had a pandemic, for example, H1N1 flu, and as a consequence, they suspended the issuance of visas in certain consulates for a number of weeks, 3 weeks, until the situation was under control. I don't understand why that is not deployed here. This would not be the first time to suspend visas. It's been done 19 times in the past for either security concerns or because of a pandemic. So I don't think I don't think they've got this under control at all.
When asked today at that hearing over the Commerce Committee about visas from West African nations for non-U.S. citizens, CDC Director Dr. Frieden responded by saying, quote, "The CDC doesn't issue visas." That seems like a supercilious and snarky response from a man who has no standing to be so cavalier with his respect for the committee, don't you think?
Well, I think the indication here is that the administration, in seeing a pandemic, needs to take concerted action. And the fact that that is shrugged off, the fact that it's compounding the problem currently by issuing visas as we speak and haven't stopped that process, this is something that goes to the issue of why we're concerned about who's in charge and what is the strategy in order to contain this
strategy
and defeat it.
I'm sorry, Congressman. I think that strategy goes now to an executive order for more troops to go to West Africa. It is extraordinary to me that there's no discussion about the proper role of our troops and their deployment in this fight against Ebola in West Africa, when we obviously don't know what we're doing quite yet in this country.
And it seems to me also that this was the responsibility of the World Health Organization to get in there early, not downplay this, not lowball this, but to come up with a plan and to come clean with everybody in terms of the magnitude of the challenge and deploy the resources. I mean, the countries around the world, all of us pay in to the World Health Organization with the idea that they will step forward. We certainly would support that effort. But seeing a lack of leadership there and seeing a lack of leadership in terms of the way the administrations handled all of this leads us to greater concerns, because as you point out, this is spreading and it will create not only enormous human misery in Western Africa, but if this isn't successfully contained, if this is not treated, if we don't develop the antidote to this, all of this is, in the process of being addressed, but not in a coherent way that can be well explained, well understood, or effectively implemented. And this is a concern right now.
Well, we're very happy that you expressed your concerns shared by so many Americans and wrote that letter to the White House looking for some reason on what seems to most Americans, I firmly believe, an illogical position to take on that restriction on travel from those West African countries.
They should reverse that today, Lou. That should end today.
Congressman Ed Royce, always good to talk with you. Thanks so much.